First and foremost, I want to take my hat off to Austin Peay. I thought they came in here and were very competitive. They came in search of victory, and I just want to commend them. And then, in terms of our team, despite all the circumstances, I want to commend them as well for sticking together and fighting through it and believing in each other. I thought as we, started the game, we got off to a very slow start. Offensively, we had 3 or 4 penalties with a turnover in the first quarter, and we all know that you just can't sustain that type of play and create any energy or momentum early in the game. I do want to take my hat off to our defense under the circumstances, as well as my defensive staff, for them to pick up and almost hold an opponent scoreless the whole game. That drive that they scored on, Dorian was getting an IV, and we got a penalty, and we had a missed tackle, and it resulted in 6 points. But overall, despite the circumstances, I'm excited about it. Offensively, we got to play better, and that's just a fact, and offensive line especially. But all in all, this victory was needed, as you guys well know. Because it's much easier to correct errors, offer victory as opposed to a loss, and that's exactly what we'll do, and we'll continue to build from this point forward.
Coach, are you satisfied that the moves you made, if it hadn't solved everything defensively, at least had you going in the right direction?
Yes, again, the job we did this week, I'm very happy about it, although we got to continue to grow, and when you make a change like we did in the middle of the season or the beginning of the season, doesn't matter. It's just the transition aspect of it is very tough and difficult, because we're trying to, there's a difference in philosophy, and there will be some subtle changes in scheme as well as technique and personnel if need be. So it's a growth process that we'll undertake here over the next 2 or 3 weeks to kind of get settled in. But I do know that the staff, the defensive staff, has tremendous chemistry. They're working hard together to give this team, our defense, an opportunity to go out there and play a style of ball that will lead to us truly giving ourselves and eliminating big plays and playing a quality brand of football.
Maybe it wasn't the dominating win you're maybe looking for, but it's still a win. I mean, you had the 11-game skid. You got to feel good tonight.
Well, I do, but my mind probably is more so on the mistakes we made and how to correct those as opposed to the victory. We still got a lot of football left in this season, and this team must grow in order for us to have a chance at victory.
Can we open up to Taylor? Taylor, 332 yards. Of course, 93 of them came on one play, but regardless, you've got to feel great about your performance. Did things slow down for you as opposed to the first couple of weeks?
Yes, sir. They definitely slowed down, but I think we have to give the credit to those skill guys that we have on the outside making the plays and breaking tackles. Like Billy, I mean, he turned something into nothing, or nothing into something right there at the end. And I don't think I was sacked at all tonight, so I definitely need to thank the offensive line.
How about the mindset of the guys at halftime? You had the lead for the first time all year. It must have been nice.
We had the lead, but our coaches were still unsatisfied with our performance because we felt like we left a lot out there still. And we just needed to finish drives, and the little mistakes like penalties, and we had 1 fumble, but we need to finish.
Terry, describe the first touchdown pass to Tanner and just kind of what developed there.
Okay, we put that in this week. We just had a long, drawn-out fake just to kind of bring everybody in, and it was just a double post, and honestly should have been there a lot quicker than I was, but just came back, sprinted back left, and hit him. He made a great play on the ball.
It was designed for you to roll out left?
It was designed for me to carry myself to the right and set up behind protection, but I drew it out a little bit longer.
Okay.
You seem to work real well out in space. The plays where you were bootlegging, even when you ran or passed, you looked like you were real comfortable. Is that a wrinkle in the offense that you're happy with?
Yes, sir. I definitely like sprinting out.
Taylor, discuss also, I guess, the play that Kevin Wright turned into a touchdown for you, and just what you saw, what you thought.
Yes, sir. We had a curl concept called, and they brought a backer in, so we hit Kenyatta right over the middle where he left. It was on 3rd down, and he turned it into a big play, but then he lost it, and K. Wright made a big play and just picked it up and scooped the score.
How did it finally feel to have the ball bounce y'all's way and to catch a break on a play like that?
It definitely felt good.
Coach,
Can you talk about that defensive stance that you guys had late in the fourth?
Well, again, it was well needed. The one thing I thought that we did today that we hadn't done a lot of all year, we did a much better job of rotating our defensive front up front. And I thought in the second half and late in the game it showed because those guys were still in position to play, strong and hard. And for them to seal the game with an interception, again, I think it just complement the way that this team have fought together all week to get this win.
What improvements are you looking for, Coach, heading into SMU next week?
Well, the same improvements I was looking for today. For us defensively, we got to keep the ball in front of us with those safeties. We got to tackle well, and our front got to play better. I really like my front, and they got to play a better brand up front to take some of the pressure out those safeties and corners. We got to put more pressure on the passer, and then we got to continue to stop the run in a way that serves us better.
And offensively?
Offensively, it all starts up front. I think that we can have a dominating run game, and we got to clean some things up there. I like for this young fella to have more time in the pocket and not be under duress, certainly, and then being able to get more consistency from our wide receiver play. I think that's critical as well.
Speaking of which, Marcus Rucker went down. Prognosis?
He just got need in the back.
Larry, guys at SMU next week in Middle Tennessee and Austin Peay. Tell the kids that they're Tennessee school.
Excuse me?
You tell SMU is a Tennessee school?
Well, they just happen to be our next opponent. I probably won't sleep all night. All week. They like to throw it around. So, when you're talking about improving our pass defense and being in position to keep the ball in front of us is a must because their favorite routes, top two favorite routes are 4 vertical out of 4 wides and 3 verticals out of 3 wide, and that's something so we got to be able to defend the vertical routes next week to have a chance at success. But SMU is an improved football team and program, and we got to be ready. And our offense got to take some of the pressure off our defense by being able to sustain drives and put points on the board as well.
Can you talk about Monty Golden? I know he had to get in early and kind of.
Yeah, we had practiced him all week, and we knew that he was going to play. We just didn't know that it was going to be as early as it was. And he got in. I think he had one bad snap to Taylor. I hadn't seen the film yet, so he knows whether or not it was bad. But we ended up fumbling and had to roll on it. But other than that, he was not an issue. I mean, you look for glaring problems, but he played well. He's played center through camp, through this early part of the season. So there's a comfort there other than him playing in games, and tonight he got a good dose of it.
Coach, you said this was a good win under the circumstances. Exactly what were you referring to? He said circumstances. Coaching changes?
No, we've been losing. Coaches or not, we need to win.
Larry, Keywan was back for, I don't know how many punts, but he had a fair catch on the one.
Mm-hmm.
Great athlete, now getting into the rhythm of things. Is there plans to use him punt returns? How about kickoff returns? It seems like the more the time to get touch the ball, better chance you may have.
Yeah, punt returns, yes, certainly. Kickoff return, he's not the style of guy that we need back there based off of our scheme. In terms of our offense, we got to do a better job of blocking on the perimeter for him. We got him a couple balls on the perimeter, and things didn't quite hold up out there, so he couldn't not get going vertically, and that's what we got to do. We got to, as opposed to some of this lateral stuff, being able to throw him some things and let him be in a position to get vertical and make guys miss. I think that's his strength more so than running lateral and trying to create it.
Anything else?
Well, and let me follow up on that. Speaking of he obviously hit Tanner for the touchdown, and I think right after a turnover by Austin Peay, you went for the home run, and you had a penalty. But other than that, there wasn't a lot of down the field passing, and you're talking about stretching it out. How does that become more of the game plan?
Well, we got to convert some of those. I mean, I know you hear a lot of people talking about it, but the times that we do, more times than not, we're in position where we should make plays. And the thing that we have to do with our receivers, we got to start making more contested catches. You know, when you look at a good defense, when you throw the ball, they're in position to tackle it. And so therefore, there are going to be times when people are in position to tackle, they're going to be hanging over, and you got to be strong to the ball, and you got to tuck it away. You got to make the plays. And we've done that, and we haven't pulled a few of them down. But more importantly, our offense has to get some continuity and rhythm and some efficiency and being able to sustain drives. And there are point in times where we need to take our shots. And to be honest with you, if you look at what they did tonight, we probably should have challenged them a little more in terms of throwing deep balls, because they were tight to the line of scrimmage. They were. But also when we throw those balls, we got to convert, because if you don't, you're 2nd and 10 or 3rd and 10 or whatever it is, and now you're behind in downs. You know.
Taylor, getting your first win of your college career, how does this affect you now? How does it feel now? How does it affect your confidence going forward?
It definitely feels great, but probably soak it in tonight, and then tomorrow we'll be back in film room and just getting ready for SMU.
Larry, what's the status on Rhodes for next week?
He won't. I mean, no, we just drained him on Friday, and I just don't see it. You know, if a miracle happens between now and then, trust me, I'll be a happy guy. But I just don't see that happening.